So those of you that know me, you may or may not know that I've been doing a lot of work in my basement lately. I've got some problems I'm trying to fix. Half of our basement is finished, and the other half is kind of a storage area. When I was in there working, I peered into a box, and it was a box of old keepsakes, knickknacks that I've kept over the years, and some have meaning, some don't have meaning. Well, one thing caught my eye the other day when I was down there looking in that box, just as I passed by it, and I brought them here with me today, and it's a pair of glasses, all right? They just kind of look like normal glasses. Just out of curiosity, does anybody recognize a pair of these or know what these are? Or there's a name for them, actually. Military glasses, right? These are special glasses to me because I know the exact date that I got them, okay? October 23rd, 1995. I was given these glasses, okay? What's it? I'll get sick probably if I do. Anyway, whoa. Maybe that's better. I can't see anybody out there. Anyway, these are special glasses to me because they were given to me on, like I said, October 23rd, 1995. That's the day that a little van drove me from Richmond, Virginia, to a place called Parris Island, South Carolina. And many of you may have heard of Parris Island. It's really not a pleasant place. It's probably one of the worst places on earth, probably. See, that's where the Marine Corps does their boot camp. And it's 13 weeks of probably the worst days of your life. And on the first day, I was given these glasses, right? If you want to know what they're really called, you can come see me after devotions, and we'll talk about that. But the thing about Parris Island, it's a special place, and anybody who's ever been there will tell you that. It's an awful place, and there are long, hard days, but it's a special place. What I've gotten in several conversations, people say that they brainwash you or whatnot, and I don't know about that, but what they do is they take everything that is familiar to you, including your hair. It's the first thing they take. They just buzz your hair off. They take your clothes, they take your family, they take your telephone, your TV, your newspaper, your radio. They take it away from you, and they submerge you in a new way of life. And you can't help but go through a transformation. I certainly did. There's probably a devotion in there somewhere, but that's not the direction I'm going in the transformation. But the way that they do it is they put you in the most stressful situation, the most tiring situations. They wear you down. They get you filthy. They don't give you time to think, and they expect you to function at a high level. Think clearly and just work through these stressful situations, okay? Some of you have heard stories or seen movies, and for the most part, they're pretty true. It's pretty awful. I remember when I first got off that little van that came from Richmond, there's a reception building. I won't say reception. It's like a processing building. And the bus pulls up, and the scariest people you ever have seen in your life start yelling at you and scare you, and they say, if you don't listen to us, we'll throw you into the brig for however long you're going to be there. Then they say, get out of the bus, and you don't know where to go. There's no stanchions or signage telling you where to go, but there's these yellow footprints that are there on the concrete, and they're infamous. And you go and you stand on those yellow footprints, and these people continue to yell at you. You don't even know what they're saying. I'm a pretty big guy. I'm about 6'3", 200 pounds. And this drill instructor was yelling at me, and I had never been so nervous in my life. My knee was quivering. Up and down, up and down. And the funny thing is, that drill instructor was a female. She was about 4'11", maybe. And I was terrified. Then what they do, they send you off, and you go to your platoon, and you meet your real drill instructors. Now, I asked Humphrey, raise your hand. Like I said, I'm 6'3". Humphrey is a big guy. Humphrey was actually one of these scary people, okay? So for 13 weeks, every waking moment, about 3 or 4 guys the size of Humphrey are yelling at you, telling you to do stuff, telling you to exercise rolling you around in the mud, and like I said, it's stressful. It's very stressful. The 1 hour we had that was kind of peaceful was when we did mail call. We did it at night, right before we hit the rack at night. And what the drill instructor would do is sit down and take the bag of mail, and he just kind of read your name and throw the mail at you, right? It was the one quiet time where you could sit down and just be at peace. You knew you might be getting a letter, and I was fortunate. My mom would write me, my friends would write me, and I would love those letters. They wouldn't say anything special. They'd tell me what's going on at home and say they missed me. They'd tell me about what the sports teams were doing. Nothing really groundbreaking, but I cherished every single letter I got. In fact, I put them in like a quart-sized plastic bag, and I kept every letter. And after they passed out the letters, I would go back to my bed, and I'd sit there and read every single one of them, just kind of in a quiet time. I'd just be there by myself and just read them over and over and over again. I would write a few letters, but for the most part, I just loved that bag of letters that I would read over and over again. In fact, I'd share them with my friends that were around. But we had that 1 hour that I could do that, and I just cherished it. I looked forward to it. When it was stressful, I would stop and I'd say, man, well, you know what? In a few hours, I get to go back and read those letters. Just a really neat time. One thing the drill instructors used to do to torment us, I'd say, Humphrey, you can tell me if I'm wrong. I kept that bag of letters in my footlocker, just a chest, right? Well, they would have us hold our footlockers out like this, and if we were bad, they would make us take it and dump it out. Everybody dump out their footlocker. And then they do that, kick it all around and mess it all up, right? While we're standing at attention, I would sit there, and the one thing I would watch is that bag of letters. And it'd get kicked around, and, I didn't care about my uniform pieces or anything else. I just watched the letters as they went around, So when they said, clean it up, I'd take a beeline for that bag of letters, and as long as I had those letters, I was fine. I was fine. The rest of the stuff didn't matter. I could get that later. But I wanted those bag of letters, The funny thing is I could tell you the last day I read those letters. It was January 7th, 1996. That was the last day until today, Gemma, that I wore these glasses. I read them through these glasses. You see, that was the day I graduated from boot camp. That was my last day. I walked across the parade deck, and I got my uniform or whatever it was, and I got to go home, and I was put back in the real world. I had TV, I had radio, I had my friends, I had my family. The real world was back. I didn't need the letters anymore. To this day, those letters still are in my mom's house, up in some closet, and they sit there, and I haven't read them, like I said, since 1996. Those letters that meant so much to me that I just wanted to get my hands on, I don't even look at anymore. That's just amazing to me. Sometimes that's like our relationship with God, isn't it? When we need Him most, He's there. We hold on to Him. We look to Him. We follow Him around. We read about Him. We talk about Him, because that's all we have. In those stressful times when things aren't going right, that's when we're closest to God. My challenge this morning is when things are right, when we're with our family, when we're with our loved ones, why can't we focus on God like I did those letters when I needed them? In the book of Psalm, David writes, Psalm 62, he says, "Find rest, O my soul, in God alone. My hope comes from Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He comes in my fortress. I will not be shaken. My salvation and my honor deepen, O God. He is a mighty rock, my refuge. Trust in Him at all times, O people. Pour out your hearts to Him, for God is our refuge." It says trust in Him at all times. Not when times are bad, not when times are good, but at all times. Now, I hope I can challenge you, because I feel challenged by this, because I certainly don't do this. When my life is going great, that's when I'm farthest from God. That's when I don't need to be with Him like I should. I'm not thanking Him. I'm not reading about him. I'm not even talking about him like I should. So my prayer today is that when things are going right, when everything seems to be going your way, that you can still hold on to God, that you can still feel close to him, that you can still be with him. Just like I did those letters when I was in Paris Island, Maybe I should go back and read them. I don't know. But they were my peace. They were my comfort in that difficult time. And the funny thing is, they still could be. They're still the same letters. Will we still have the same God, whether times are good or times are bad? So I hope I challenged you with that this morning. Good. That's all I have, so I guess we can join in time for prayer.